Sometimes you just gotta go Bardown.
Kirill, top titty 2x4 to end the game. That was nice.
Bardown Beauties.
That's the sexy part of the game, is it not? The plays and the goals and the...
Yeah, that's what you guys like. I mean, it is great.
And now, a new episode of Bardown Beauties with Jesse Pierce and Kirsten Kroll. Your favorite P-Dub dynamic duo has teamed up with our friends at SotaStick for a one-of-a-kind merch collaboration. Signed, sealed, and delivered, women's hockey superstars Grace Zumwinkle and Taylor Heisey bring their patented personalities with a whole vibe on tees and crew necks, now available only at SotaStick.com. While you're purchasing those, don't forget to toss in some 1980 Miracle memorabilia to help celebrate the 45th anniversary of everyone's favorite on-ice moment. As always, use code BardownBeauties at checkout for 15% off all purchases at SotaStick.com. What's going on, everybody? Bardown Beauties, episode 274. We are back, Minnesota Wild, in the playoffs, probably, maybe, kind of, sort of, potentially. Currently not clinched, recording this on a Monday, per standard. Close, Kirsten. They are very close. How are we feeling?
I wish they would have gotten it done either in Calgary on Friday night, but that clearly didn't happen. I'm frustrated with how they have had multiple opportunities and haven't been able to clinch and get it done with what they've been given. But I'm still feeling optimistic. Right now, they're in that first wild card slot at 95 points. Calgary can only get up to 96. I'm not convinced they're going to win at least four games straight. The Wild, and then in San Jose, they've still got two left. They've still got LA, and I believe Seattle was the other game that they have left on hand. I'm not convinced they're going to win at least four games straight. So I'm feeling good, but I just wish we wouldn't be in this position where we're waiting until the final game of the regular season.
Yes, as we mentioned, Minnesota, with just needing that 1 point win in any fashion against the Anaheim Ducks, who they played today while you were listening to this, is good. Getting a little boost for the Minnesota Wild back on defense. Zeev Buium signing his entry-level contract after the Pioneers did not make it to the championship game. Go Western Broncos. They end up winning the whole shebang, and CHC on top again of the college hockey world. Love to see that. But Zeev signing that ELC, no big surprise there. Bill Guerin had said a few days prior that they intend to get Zeev into this lineup. They're excited about having him. Here's what Zeev himself had to say during practice when he first spoke with media as an official member of the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Everyone's been super nice and kind of helped me get around a little bit. So, yeah, it's been awesome.
Is it very much a whirlwind still, though?
Definitely. Yeah, it's a lot of emotions, kind of hard to process still. But, yeah, it's just super excited and honored to be here.
What emotions the last few days? What has it been like on Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing that game on Thursday sucked, but, kind of had to turn the page quick. And it's just a lot of excitement, anxious, but very excited. I think just, playing in those events and, the last 2 years I had at Denver, I don't think there's much more, development-wise for me in college hockey. And, I can obviously always get bigger, stronger, and faster, but I think just taking this next step and pushing myself even more, it's the right moment. Obviously, it's something you dream of your entire life, and that's the goal. I mean, that's the dream, like I said, to play in the NHL and take that rookie lap. So, if I'm fortunate enough to do it, then, I'm going to be super pumped and ready and excited to go. But, yeah, it's just still a dream right now, so it's pretty awesome.
I mean, what are our expectations here, Kirsten, for Zeev? I know everybody's very excited. They look at Brock Faber and what he was able to accomplish when he came in right off the college scene. But him and Zeev are different players. They're electric in their own right. What are you expecting to see from Zeev come his NHL debut here Tuesday night?
I mean, expectations for him are very high, but I'm not expecting too much in his NHL debut on a Tuesday night against Anaheim. I'm very excited because with a very depleted, injured Minnesota Wild defense, I feel he can only help bolster. But like you mentioned, him and Brock Faber, very different players. I don't think it's fair to have those same expectations that Zeev is just going to come in and blow everybody away right off the bat like Brock Faber did. I don't think that's fair or realistic. You got to give a little bit of a grace period too, especially making that big transition from college hockey to professional hockey. It's very different. But I'm still very excited.
Yeah, I mean, Zeev Buium brings some offense to his game too, I think, but that's also the concern is defensively, he's not quite up to par. So I think you need to have him with Jared Spurgeon, who, again, as we're recording this, I don't know if he is back in the lineup against Anaheim, but potentially pairing him with Zeev to cover up some of those mistakes. Again, that also depends on Jake Middleton. Is Jake Middleton back? Do you put Middleton and Faber back together then and Broads and Spurgeon and put Zeev with Zach Bogosian on that bottom line? Those are all answers that have been answered by the time you're listening to this, but those are the questions that circle for me, and just how many minutes. So exciting time. Again, a pillar of the future for the Minnesota Wild, which I think is going to be fantastic. Can't negate that. The interesting thing is we talk about the offense that Zeev can bring to the Minnesota Wild and in general to the team, which has been lacking. Fun fact, Minnesota is the only team in the West. If they make the playoffs, again, fingers crossed, they'd be the only team with a negative goal differential. Only the second team in the entire playoffs to have a negative goal differential. They are at -12. How much are Kirill and Eki going to be able to bring that number up and really help, again, bolster the offense production?
I mean, the team is only better if you have an Ek or a Kaprizov in the lineup. But again, going off of recency bias, I was disappointed to kind of see how they had played coming when I believe it was the Calgary game. I believe that is what I'm thinking of right now. Just not seeing as much from them as we had hoped, especially coming off of that San Jose game. I feel like a lot of people are just pretty flat-footed in that game, even kind of leaning a little bit towards the game the other night for Minnesota. Watch that game. Yes, they got the win in overtime 3-2, but a lot of opportunities for Minnesota, and I just feel like it shouldn't have gone as late as it did. So just hoping to see more from them, especially in Anaheim tomorrow night when everything is on the line.
Yeah, it felt like there were some passengers once again in the past two games and maybe relying too much on Kirill and Ek to really bring that back into fruition. There were some line changes, dramatic line changes happening against the Vancouver Canucks, where, as you said, Kirsten, they didn't really show up until the final 20 minutes, which they showed up, but it would be incredible if you could get that going for the entirety of a game, especially as the playoffs hit. If you do get that first wild card spot, you get the Vegas Golden Knights, ladies and gentlemen, which means I believe the playoffs for Minnesota would start on the 19th versus the 21st. If they get Winnipeg, I am told it is on the 21st. So that's all projected as of right now, but I'm hearing 19th for Vegas, 21st for Winnipeg. So we'll see how things shake out. Again, Minnesota's still not in there. I want to talk about Marcus Foligno. I can be a little hard on my friend Moose, but I think especially toward the second half of this season, Marcus has been that guy we saw a few years ago, the guy that is able to play that physical, rough and tumble presence, but also pop in a few goals and really help get things going energy-wise for his line. We saw him get that tying goal against the Vancouver Canucks to push Minnesota into overtime. I'm surprised. I'm going to say it. I'm surprised that Marcus Foligno has found this element of his game yet again, because he's coming off these injuries. He's coming off of another down year. It's been a struggle, but I'm a little surprised, Kirsten, that Marcus has refound and re-engaged this aspect of his game. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. I love it. But that's kind of where I'm at with Marcus.
I am torn because I guess I think I'm more surprised that he has been more of a force on this team than the majority of the team right now. He has been, without a doubt, one of, if not the most important player that we have had down this stretch for Minnesota. We've always known he's had this component to his game, but I'm just very happy he's found a stride again, especially at the right time of the year.
Mm-hmm. And I go back to, I love the beef line, as we're calling it. Just Boldy, Ek, and Foligno together. That's a playoff line. That's the line that I want to see go against the Winnipeg Jets. I want to see that physicality, that net front presence, and I think all three of those players bring that. And I think Boldy gets his physicality from watching Eriksson Ek play and from watching Marcus Foligno play. And I need that. I need more of that. Now, that being said, what's your dream line scenario heading into game one of the playoffs? Again, if the Wild make it. I hate talking in such facades, but we don't know. The truth is, the odds are more likely that they will be in than not. But what's your dream line situation for the roster?
Dreamline situation, I don't really know because this team seemingly, I am just trying to find the right words this morning. They're so unpredictable right now. I don't know what even would work. Dream scenario in a perfect world. I don't know.
Do you stagger it? Like, do you put Eric Sinek as the top line center and have Kirill and put all that power up there and then kind of have Boldy? Or do you stagger and separate a little bit? Do you separate Kirill and Zuki? I think we've established that cannot happen. They are only good together.
It would probably be
Unfortunately.
Kirill, Zuki, and Jewel as my top line.
That'd be your top line.
That would be my top line.
Okay. See, I think I would go Kirill, Marco. I mean, I liked how Marco and Matt Boldy played together as well, but I think I would put Kirill, Marco, Zuki, and that's kind of your finesse line. And then I would probably put I would go back with Marcus Foligno, Jules Eriksson, Matt Boldy. I would have Marcus Johansson as your bottom six. I can finally put him down there. We love to see that. And I would do Johansson, Goudreau, and I like how Ryan Hartman plays with Vinny Hinostroza, so I'd put Vinny Hinostroza in, which means on the right I put Gus Nyquist on that third line, and then I would probably put Trennan, Hartman, Vinny as my fourth line.
Okay.
I think. Which, he won't listen to me. We'll see it at one point in time, possibly. Again, not knowing if Minnesota is in the playoffs or not, let's take a look around the league because playoffs do begin this week. It's very exciting. Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers have all clinched. Washington Capitals, Carolina Hurricanes, and the New Jersey Devils. The Ottawa Senators, Kirsten, our boy Brady Tkachuk getting in there. Montreal Canadiens looking at that last wildcard spot in the East. Columbus not too far behind. In the East, who are we liking? Who do you think's overrated? What are your biggest surprises? We touched on it a little bit last week with Shannon, aka the hockey guy. But any surprises there? Again, for me, I always forget about Ottawa and Montreal. So for them to be even anywhere in the realm, it's just kind of weird.
Ottawa surprises me, but I think right now one of the biggest storylines too that we still don't know as we head into the final game or two of the regular season that Montreal continues to lose. Now we'll see. I believe they have a game tonight, Monday, when we're recording. Montreal continues to lose, and Columbus, they're staying in control of their destiny. They continue to win. I've watched their last couple of games, and they've been impressive, especially in their back-to-back against the Capitals here. They're doing what they can, but they need help with the teams playing Montreal to get in. So I didn't even think at this time of the year we'd be looking at Columbus being in the position to be making the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I think credit to Dean Evson and what he's been able to do. That team's been through a lot, obviously, from the beginning of the year on. Montreal, fun fact, the other team that is a negative goal differential. I can't remember if I mentioned that, but they are minus 21, the only team in the East should they make the playoffs. Plus 75 for Tampa Bay Lightning in their goal differential. Like, that would be really nice to be on like the positive side of things. The other team that kind of surprises me is New Jersey. And maybe it's because I always feel like I'm hearing about the negatives happening in New Jersey, but they captured that third place spot in the Metropolitan. Again, very tough. They had 89 points. So, I mean, pretty far back from the other two teams that clinched in the Metropolitan, Washington and Carolina. But New Jersey, I don't think they have it in them. I really don't.
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. They've also been dealing with some big injuries this season as well. Losing one of the Hughes brothers. Was it? Yeah, Luke? Luke Hughes?
Luke came back. Jack's gone.
Jack. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, yep. Jack. Season ending, I think, shoulder surgery, if I'm correct, that he had. So that's a big loss for New Jersey. I don't know. I struggle to know year in, year out if New Jersey's legit.
Yeah. They always have that vibe about them. Like, you hear, like, this is it. It's similar to Carolina, but on a very different scale, I feel.
They're just flat out not as good as Carolina. But Carolina's legit. They just can't get it done.
That's true. That is very true. Going over to the West, then the conference that we all care about, President's Trophy winners, Winnipeg Jets, 114 points. That tops the Washington Capitals, who had 109. You got the Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche, those two facing off in the first round. And then you've got Vegas, LA, and Edmonton. So you'll get LA and Edmonton going at it again for like the 10th year in a row. Actually, it's like 4, but whatever. And then both wild cards still open down there. Again, I don't think any surprises, right, Kirsten? Like the West, as much as we say there's so much turmoil in the Central and kind of that's the hardest, it was pretty laid out from the beginning of the year. Like I think if I went back to what we had pinpointed for the West in the divisions, I think this is pretty much aligning how we thought it would.
The only surprises as of late, I think, are how close Minnesota and St. Louis are, and just the wild card not going to be solidified until the final game of the regular season. That's the only. I knew for the Wild it was probably going to come down to about halfway through the season. I figured it was going to come down once again to the last game of the regular season to see where things sit. I just didn't expect it to be this much of a cluster right now with 3 teams so close in contention vying for those wild cards. So just being all over the place right now. The only other thing that's been a little surprising to me, again, as of late, how the Dallas Stars have crumbled their last 5-6 games.
Losing in that third period. Should I put in the audio of Matt Duchene telling me that third periods are their best periods, even when I countered him and told him it was not true?
Yeah, because I believe it's a 5-game losing streak for Dallas, at least as of a day or two ago.
That's a shame. They're a good team. That's not going to last very long. I mean, they're going to get to the playoffs. I do, and we kind of have touched on this, I don't love that we're seeing Colorado and Dallas. Like, yes, from a Minnesota Wild perspective, it's nice because you're getting them out of the way. But those two teams squaring off in the first round, it just kind of feels like you're losing two really dominant squad, or one dominant squad eventually, a little too early.
Yes. I don't know. As of right now, where things are, if I was Colorado, I wouldn't be nervous about Dallas.
Fair. Are you saying
as of right now? Dallas has, I think, been having struggles that this is the worst time of year for it to be happening for them.
I mean, you're not wrong. But they're still the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, but you're also facing off against the Colorado Avalanche.
It was also good. 106 points, 102 points. Pretty incredible stuff there. I know say Vegas ends up being where Minnesota shakes out in this playoff discussion, which I know media is going to be thrilled and fans will be thrilled because you get to go to Vegas versus going to Winnipeg. Now, personally, again, I love the rivalry of Winnipeg, Minnesota. Vegas doesn't worry me. And I think that's even more concerning that I don't want to be overlooking anybody, but Vegas to me feels very favorable. Now, granted, I still go back to Matt Zuccarello saying they're just a flat out better team. And in that most recent instance of them playing each other, that's true. But I don't know. Vegas to me, I'm just kind of like, yeah, good. Let's go.
I can't get a good read on Vegas. I think as far as any of the teams we could play right now, Vegas would be the one that I'm like, let's go. Maybe it's because also my expectations are so low for Minnesota that if we do good against Vegas, I'm going to be shocked. But I don't know. Vegas to me just doesn't seem scary.
Right.
And I might regret saying that. I think Vegas is still a better team than us, but it seems like they are more beatable than other teams we could potentially be facing.
Like, I'm worried that I'm not worried. You know?
I think I'm not worried because my worst case scenario is we get bounced in the first round in 4 or 5 games. That's my worst case scenario. So if they do better than that, and I think Vegas probably gives us the best opportunity.
But I'm even like, we've talked about they're going to go in the playoffs and they're going to get swept or they might win one game. In Vegas, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, they could win that series. They should win 2 games. It could go to 7. I don't see that happening against Winnipeg. You know what I mean?
I also don't see that happening against Winnipeg.
Right. But I could see Vegas going the distance.
I think Vegas gives us a better chance than Winnipeg. Absolutely.
I worry that I'm so not worried about that. Maybe it's because also they just seem, the Pacific in general to me is less worrisome. Like you don't have to be, looking at, again, the points here, Vegas 107, LA 101, Edmonton 99. it's not as dramatic as 114, 106, and 102 that's in the Central, right? Like you weren't going to catch up and get those teams.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, should we
Yeah, I
go
don't
to
know.
Vegas?
Hmm?
Should we go to Vegas?
I would love to go to Vegas.
I've seen a game there once. It is pretty fun. It's not bad. Other final talking points. Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously not getting kind of the grand goodbye as had been envisioned because Minnesota played so poorly in Calgary. He doesn't get the final game in Vancouver, which again, I know Marc-Andre Fleury does not care. This is not something that he ever wanted to make a big deal out of. I think teams did a tremendous job respecting and honoring him, but I can't help but be a little sad that his final game is going in for relief against Calgary, or trying to go in for relief there, and then getting lit up at home for his final. Like, I just think he deserves better. So I don't know if we don't see him against Anaheim, right? I think that's already been proclaimed, but it makes me a little sad that that's the final memories.
Yeah. I don't know. I think probably he's going to remember that final home game where we played the Sharks more than coming in for relief against Calgary. I think
that wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one, but it was still a win. He still got the overtime record for most overtime wins in history. I don't know. And plus, like, his kids were out there with him, like starting goalie buddies, I believe what they were calling it. So all three kids were out on the ice with him during the starting lineup. So I don't know. I feel like that's probably a memory he's going to take away more than relief in Calgary.
I mean, letting in 7 goals is what my concern.
Yeah, but a win's a win. It wasn't a great game, but also would he have had a better game if he started tomorrow in Anaheim?
I mean, you'd think, right? Like, I don't know. But
you would
again,
hope, but
both
he hasn't played a lot.
Yeah, I think that was the toughest crux of it all, for sure. So, I don't know. I know he doesn't care, and he has plenty of other positive things to focus on, and the team getting into the playoffs is the number one thing that he wants, because it would be a shame if he ended this storied career on the last 2 seasons he doesn't make the playoffs for the first time ever for him. So it'll be interesting. Do you think there's going to be any, again, I know he's done the whole thing with Vegas, but Vegas kind of did him dirty, and he's got a history there. Do you think he sees any action in the playoffs if it is Vegas at all?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No, I really don't. I think it's all Gus.
It's Gus or bust.
It's Gus or bust.
Okay. That's fair. I could see that. Do you think Justin Brazeau plays any more games of hockey for the Minnesota Wild?
I would play Brazeau more than I'd play Trennan right now.
I mean,
Trennan proving in
no sussy
the last game he can be a very dangerous player, especially in the playoffs. That's not what you need. But also maybe by that dirty hit, he did the Wild a favor by getting himself a game misconduct.
What do you make of that? So you think no-go trash move on his part to hit Forbort?
Yeah, he hit the ice first, and then he's already down, fights over, ref's there, and then he throws another punch, and I believe, too, he fractured his orbital lobe after that, too. So
landed.
No, that was such a cheap shot.
Then it went a little unhinged, too, when he like continued to go after like the officials and the team. Like, it's a little terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a good look whatsoever on his
part.
part.
Of the Russian mob, right?
Yeah,
probably
it wasn't a good look.
No. Yeah, I think, and I forget. So you can recall the Black Aces to play, which means you're going to get a handful of AHL guys. Iowa eliminated from any postseason contention. So does that mean like Liam Ogren is eligible because your salary goes away, right? Like it doesn't matter. So you could put Liam Ogren into your lineup come playoffs.
I think so. I'm never good when it comes to the financials and contracts.
I can't even handle my own financials, let alone the financials of an entire hockey team. But
same.
Like, yeah, I think you could play Liam Ogren, because if that's the case too, for sure no Justin Brazeau, probably no Vinny Hinnis. Like I would put Liam Ogren in over any of those guys at any point.
Would as well, without a doubt. I would put in Ogren over the others. Like, I know you're looking for size, but I don't feel like that's even helped us that much.
No, they haven't done anything. Do you think that is the kind of biggest blemish Bill Guerin has made so far in his tenure?
Yes, without a doubt.
Right?
I don't understand the pickup of Brazo. And Trennan, 4 years, I don't understand that either.
No, that one I think you buy out.
You absolutely have to.
You can't do that. He's not bringing anything. Hesitant to say that because I don't want him to punch my orbital bone, but like, just can't do it. Can't do it. It'll be interesting. Any other food for thought? Are you happy the NCHC is back on top? Again, shout out to Western Michigan Broncos rather. Fun game. Fun Masters. It was a fun weekend of sports aside from being a Minnesota Wild fan.
You know, this was supposed to be a down year for the NCHC, and they continue to just be national champions once again. I was talking to my friend about this too the other day. NCHC has the best teams. Hockey East probably has the best players.
Okay.
So that was just some food for thought. But I mean, NCHC, what is this? 3 straight national championships for NCHC. Denver back-to-back, now Western. They've won. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but you think of the years Minnesota Duluth won, North Dakota won. Like, they've been dominant in the national championship. So,
and that's a testament to them playing each other throughout the course of the season. Like, that conference in general, it's going to bolster how teams play and perform. And
Western Michigan did not give out any NIL money. So,
and that's what you're going to cut. Like, we could go into a whole episode, and I'd rather have somebody a little bit smarter than I that covers college hockey more frequently. But I can see how that's going to be a huge problem for college hockey as it comes to transfers or the transfer portal and everybody. You're seeing these smaller schools like Minnesota State and Western Michigan who can't afford it. You don't have the Big Ten money. You don't have even the Hockey East money, right? So there's quite a bit there. So it's going to hurt college hockey, I fear. Maybe not, because I do think, again, hockey players are a different breed when it comes to, what they're looking for as far as their playing career. They want to go and be a part of a team. As you'd mentioned, Kirsten, you don't have to be the best to be on the best team. But it starts to worry me because you saw so many players enter the transfer portal this year, and a lot of that having to do with NIL money, and it's kind of making you forget where your commitment lies to, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just think it's a little ironic. Big Ten has all of the NIL money, and you haven't seen them or a team in the Big Ten, I guess, perform up to expectations, which is win a national championship.
But Isaac Howard, Hobie Baker winner.
Yeah.
He's got that going for him, I guess. Do you think that Minnesota comes through on Tim Washy, Western Michigan Bronco, who had a hell of a tournament? Loved his face-off style. That was probably the biggest thing that stuck out to me. But he's a free agent, so I love to see Minnesota go in after a solid little, maybe forget about that college kid they picked in the first round 2 years ago.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I know based on what I have read online, there's mutual interest on both sides. And Minnesota has been in talks, and Minnesota has been named a team he is interested in. So I'm intrigued to see what happens there.
There we go. Who doesn't want to play with Kirill Kaprizov?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know, but we could also use help in the circle too. So,
is he big kid?
I don't know.
Big kid though. I don't think so. Billy's not going to love that. I think that's going to do it. I don't think we have anything else. We don't need to belabor anything. Final parting thoughts, Kirsten, as we head into the final regular season game and the high hope, high potential of playoffs for the Minnesota Wild.
Control your destiny and win in regulation against Anaheim. That is all I have to say.
It's a simple game. I'm going to make sure to tell John Gibson he could come sign here in Minnesota on a 2-year deal as well. Cool. Need a good little veteran was going to say quarterback because also the draft is coming up, so we get to talk about that next week. But that's going to do it. As always, shout out to all of you. Thank you. We've got a live show coming up on Monday, the 21st at Tom Reed's. Shout out to the Minnesotan for having us out there on Friday. Great time, great crowd. Appreciate you all. And go Minnesota Wild. Shout out to Royal Credit Union, SotaStick, Talk North, Greenbelt. And we'll see you guys Monday. Talk soon. Bye.